Hello friends, I'm happy to come your way this evening, and today on our educational segment I'm taking you to the United States of America. Today the spotlight has fallen on one great woman ever lived. This woman is no other person than Harriet Tubman. Please, before I continue, I want to correct a notion here. Please don't think that I am being gender biased. I am never gender biased. I'm a very neutral person, but I project women the more because I want to encourage more women to come out of their shells and do something great to change the history of the world. After all, other women have done it, and so there is no limit to what we can also do. Okay, in our days we can also have women rising up to become great people, and so I want to project more because I believe that if I project women and other women see it, it will encourage them to also rise up from wherever they are to shine. Okay, and so the need to project women. Okay, but that is not to say that I'm gender biased. Okay, now today we are going to talk about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, for those of you that have heard about her or that have watched a movie, you know who she was and how she was able to fight to become the star that we are talking about today. But today, for those of you that do not know about her, we'll get to know about her pretty soon. Okay, and let us not forget that she was a slave, and so I'll give you the dictionary definition of a slave, and then there are so many quotes about quote of her. Okay, in fact there are so many quotes that she cited, and I've picked one of her favorite quotes to share with my friends out there. And before I give you the definition of a slave, let us quickly get to know the quotes. Okay, and it says every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and to change the world. I believe that this quote says it all. We are all dreamers, but we can go beyond dreaming to realize our dreams. Okay, we can go beyond dreaming to do something substantial for other people to come and talk about us. And so it is never late. No time is late. Okay, wherever you are, don't dwell in the shadows. Okay, come out and shine. And I believe that whatever you dream of becoming, the Lord will help you to become. Okay, now let's go back to Harriet Tubman. Okay, so before we tap deep into her story, we want to know what the meaning of a slave is. Now, a slave, according to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, is a person who is owned by another person and is forced to work for them. And so in a simple sentence, I can say that a slave is a servant who has a master. A slave is simply a servant who has a master. And most of the time when you're a slave, you know that you have a master, and so you haven't got your own willpower. It is your master that tells you to do this, and then you do that. Okay, so all the power is from, or the authority is from your master. Okay, and so Harriet was also within that category of a slave, but she was able to not limit herself because of her condition, but she was able to rise above that condition to become the icon we are celebrating today. And so whoever you are, don't look at the surrounding, don't look at the things around you, don't look at the environment. Rise up from there and shine, and then we will also remember you and talk about you. Okay, Harriet Tubman. Who is Harriet Tubman, and what is so significant about her that today we are celebrating her? Harriet Tubman was born Aramita Ross in March 1822 in Dorchester County, Maryland. She was an American abolitionist and a political activist. Born into slavery, Tubman escaped and subsequently made some 13 missions to rescue approximately 70 enslaved people. including her family and friends, using the network of anti-slavery activists and the safe houses known as the Underground Railroad. Now Tubman, at a point in time, felt that she could not contain it anymore, and then she escaped from her masters to be a freed woman. Okay, and she escaped through the Underground Railroad. Okay, and so this made her to be very familiar with the railroad system, like the route. Okay, it made her very familiar with the railroad routes there, and she was able to save other people because she was going in and out to come and pick people to safety to wherever she was. Born enslaved, Tubman was beaten and whipped by her masters in her early years. Because she was a slave, she was beaten and whipped. She went through a lot of difficult times. At a point in time, there was a metallic substance that was being targeted at a particular person. Unfortunately, it hit her on the head, and that made her to suffer traumatic head injury. In fact, this head injury, she suffered that pain throughout her life, and so throughout her life she had a ill health, but that didn't prevent her from rising above that state to become the star we are talking about today. She suffered from a sickness known as narcolepsy, which is a chronic sleeping disorder, or we can also say that an uncontrollable daytime sleepiness, that sometimes you may be standing and you'll be sleeping, heavily sleeping. Okay, and this sickness accompanied by heavy head pains and dizziness was a huge blow on her health. In fact, due to this head injury that she suffered, at a point in time she felt that she was having premonitions from God, because she was having vivid dreams and other things which she felt were premonitions from God. And also coupled with her Methodist upbringing, she was actually a devoutly religious person, and so she felt that God was talking to her, and that there was something very bad that was going to happen, and God was alerting her, prompting her on that. In 1849, Tubman escaped Philadelphia to return to Maryland to rescue her family. Eventually, she guided dozens of other enslaved people to freedom. She was able to achieve this by traveling by night in an extreme secrecy, because because she escaped slavery. At a point, coupled with other things, she was being hunted for, and because of that, she only comes out at night. Okay, she became kind of an owl. She comes out at night to come and save her people. She was never caught in all those instances, and she also never lost a passenger. And for that reason, she was actually made, or she was actually known as the Moses of her people. And we all know what Moses also did with her people in the Bible. And so because she was also liberating her people from slavery, she was nicknamed Moses of her people. After escaping slavery, she also helped others to gain freedom as a conductor of the Underground Railroad. Tubman also served as a scout, served as a spy soldier, a cook and a nurse for the Union Army during the Civil War. In fact, she was a jack of all trades, and she joined the Union Army, and because she was very good, she knew all the canons when it comes to the Underground Railroad routes. She was able to serve as a spy for the Union Army, and she was able to leak information for them in order America at a point in time was divided because of the slavery activities. Others were of the view that the slavery must continue. Others were of the view that the slavery must not continue. And so they fought for it, and eventually the United States of America won the fight. This is why the Federate States was added, the Federate States was added to the United States to become one country. If not, at a point in time, America was divided. Okay. She also is considered, or she was considered as the first Black American woman ever served in the military. She was at a point a spy for the military, that's the Union Army, and so she was also considered the first Black American ever served in the military. Although slaves were not legally allowed to marry, Tubman entered into a marital union with John Tubman, a Black man, in 1844, and then she took his name and dubbed herself Harriet. In fact, you could understand why she changed her name from Aramita to Harriet. At a point in time, she was being hunted for everywhere because of her dealings with the Union Army, and of course, she a slave that was doing weird things for. At that time, it was considered as weird things, and so she was being hunted for. And then when she got married, she actually dubbed herself Harriet, and then took the husband's name just to disguise who her real identity was. Okay. Tubman also participated in other anti-slavery efforts, including supporting John Brown in his failed 1959 raid on the Harper's Ferry. Because she was so much into anti-slavery activities, anybody who comes to say that he's fighting anti-slavery stuff, she would jump into the train. And so I think in this instance also, she tried helping John Brown, but unfortunately it didn't work out. It failed. Okay. Tubman also dispensed herbal remedies for herbal remedies for the soldiers. Herbal remedies for the soldiers and Tubman also dispensed herbal remedies for the blacks and white soldiers who had infections and diseases because of the Civil War. At a point in time, she was actually everything, and so she was able to also do some herbal remedies for the soldiers that fell ill due to the war. And so we could see that the woman did marvelously well for the American people, and so she became an icon. But time is not on my side, so I am going to stop here. Part 2 of the concluding story will come your way next week. I believe that you are blessed. I believe that you've had something from this story, and I hope to give you the concluding part next week. Have a nice time. Bye bye.